All right. It's me again, Josh, the funkdoc, and we are back with another game. This time it is a Germany 5-player game, which is a rarity to see. Surprisingly, we're getting this many players. We've had a 4-player game and now a 5-player game on a weeknight, which is really rare for me on BSW. Usually I'm lucky to get 2-player games. I'll put the 3 plan up for 4. It should go for like 5 or 6. If I can get the 3 for 4, I'll be thrilled. I just need to consider a safe build though. Yeah, I'm not going to go 6 for it, I think. I'll actually go for the 5 here. I really prefer not to be one of the later players building on Germany for the first turn. Germany tends to punish the players who build last or close to it. Now, one thing I feel here, one thing I've always argued is, if you're the last player in the auction in a 5-player game, you should start with the 9 instead of the 10. Jonflagg bought the 10 here, and I can see an argument for it, but I personally feel that the 9 is better, because the 10, with the 10, you're getting stuck with crazy expensive coal, because 4 and 5 are both going to buy max coal. The 8 plan is going to buy either 3 or 4 coal, although in Germany it'll probably just be 3 with the more expensive connections. But even still, that's going to leave really expensive coal for the 10. I'll do my part maxing up the coal here, for sure. But yeah, with 4, 5, and 8, like if 4, 5, and 8 of all those plants have already been bought, I would say the 9 is the better choice to start than the 10. The 10 will be a nice plan on turn 2, in that case. But turn 1, I'm not feeling it so much. See, what I'd rather do is I'd rather buy the 9, because the 9 is a long-term... It's a fairly efficient, useful plant, like in a long-term sense. And the 9 will allow you to build one city. When you're when you're going last, you can choose a safe spot to build one city, and thus go low in the turn order for turn 2, which is very valuable in a 5-player game. Like me, I'm building one city here, guaranteed. Like if I'm starting with the 3, 4, or the 5 in a 5-player game, if the market looks like any decent at all, I am not building 2 cities at the start, because I don't want to go high in the turn order. I want to try to stay low so I can get a chance at plants like 21, 25, 26 if they're around. Because in a 5-player game, those plants are much more likely to show up on turn 2 compared to smaller games, with more players in the auction, of course. Alright, so again, I gotta do my plant tracking. So 21, 23, 28, 30 will go under the deck. That's a big deal. 30 going under the deck, especially for 5-player game, that's important as hell, actually. 5-player games are the games where the 6 capacity plants matter most. That is the 31, 30, 31, 32. Those plants are at their most important in the 5-player games, because 5-player games have a tendency to stall out in terms of both the market and the building, and have the game end before step 3. Alright, where did you build? Hamburg is a safe spot. Erfurt would be a bad single build in the spot, because I could get sandwiched both ways. Like any of this Erfurt, Halle, Leipzig stuff, I wouldn't want to build any of those as a single build. Fulda could be a safe single build, except it would be very unspectacular. I think the play for me is going to be Magdeburg as the safest single build left on the board. Stein's build makes sense now because you don't necessarily want to give the blue player like too much cheap land. So Osnabrück Bremen would actually be a possibility here for John. But the problem is John could also go Castle Fulda, and that could really hurt Stein. Take out a lot of the yellow land that they'd be looking for. Yep, Castle Fulda. I called it. That was the risk with Stein's build, although I imagine it's a risk he was willing to take. Stein does not need a lot of cities in Step 1 to be content, from my experience having seen his playstyle. Stein is often content to just sit at 4 cities in Step 1. I'm glad nobody crowded me, at least. Schwerin is my obvious... Well, no, wait. I just realized something. My build was actually a lot less safe than I thought, because daroj could just build Schwerin next. I forgot about that part. Ooh, I forgot about that. I have this tendency to default to Magdeburg as like the safe 1 build when I can't think of anything else to do. But actually in this case, because daroj builds before me and has the 4 plant, it's not as good as usual. Here in this situation, I'm actually going to pass. Make daroj take the 13. I was really surprised that amitss passed in this situation. I can kind of see why, because 21 is going to be amazing with 23 being next in the market. The problem is this is giving a short-term money advantage to Stein and John, especially John. daroj takes the 7 over the 13. I can kind of see why, because he's playing a turn order game here. Also 17 coming in. Ugh. $31 is going to go into the deck too. This is going to make for a really interesting 5-player game, actually. More interesting than normal, I'd suspect. I obviously have to buy the coal here, because there's going to be a ton of coal bought this turn. I need to get my coal as cheap as I can get it now and attack Stein and John, because Stein and John, they are the players who benefit the most from the rest of us not buying plants on this turn. amitss was the player that I expected to buy 13. I was really surprised that they passed. It does make sense for 5-player, though, because 5-player is more about getting big capacity plants and buying as few plants as possible. Because the number of cities required to end the game is lower in 5-player. It's 15 versus 17 cities in 3 and 4-player. And there's the Schwerin build. There's the Schwerin build. You know what this means? This means I no build. I definitely am not going to build now. That is what this means here, kids. Because I'm going to get bottom in the turn order, and bottom in the turn order is what you want in 5 and 6-player games when there's, big plants lurking in the auction. I want to stay below the players who'd feel compelled to buy stuff like 23, should they miss out on 21. So this is what I'm fishing for here. Stein takes Erfurt, which is a sensible move for them. The problem is, it compels Stein to... Well, no, Stein probably is not going to buy a plant, but someone else is probably going to buy 13. Like, Stein would miss out on the... Basically, I feel like Stein would have to pass, and thus miss out on the 21. Miss out on the chance at the 21. Which 20 and 21 both. 20 is going to be a beast in this game. With 31's out of the game now. Oh no, Stein will buy the 13. Okay. I can see it because, Stein has 3 cities already, so 13's just going to be free money for him. With the green power. with the 2 of the 6 capacity plants gone, that's going to increase the value of the 5 plants. $50 came into the game, so we know that plant's going under the deck this turn. My hope is that, yeah, I was going to say, I feel very, very good about the price I got on the 20 here. It's going to be an important long-term plant. Because of 31 being out of the game, we do have 21, but like 21 and 25 would be like the only other big endgame plants to that attack coal. But yeah, I personally feel like 20 is going to end up being too cheap here. Because, holy crap. It's 20. It's really good. I definitely have to take Berlin as my next city. For sure. I'm a little bit short of being able to afford both Berlin and Frankfurt, though, which is kind of a problem. I definitely have to build Berlin, though, because if I don't, Stein will. Considering the price at 21's going for, yeah, I think I got a good deal on the 20 here. 20 is a much better plant in 5-player games. Much, much better plant than it is in the 2 through 4-player games that you usually see on here. Yes, especially with 11 coming on. Okay. Here comes the market stall, kids. Because, like, look at how... Holy shit, this is, like... This is every single nuclear plant in the game except for the 39. All we need is for someone to buy a plant and then 39 to be drawn. 25 came, though. Okay. Well, I mean, in the 5 and 6-player games, we actually play with the entire plant deck. No plants are randomly removed like they are in smaller games. So, like, we knew 25 was going to come at some point. It was just a matter of when. And the when is going to be probably not for a little bit, at least. Which thus helps out the 20. Okay. So I can take this city... for the $17. I'll do this. This will get me Berlin, and I can then get a cheap Frankfurt from there. The problem will be future expansion, though. Lübeck would be a sweet city, but I expect Daroj will get that this turn. They did pay a lot for 21, though, for this early in the game. Maybe they can't afford another city with the extra resources that Daroj has stored. They may not be able to afford a city this turn, which would be a big deal. Although in 5-player, less big of a deal. Again, it's capacity that wins in 5-player a lot more than efficiency does compared to smaller games. Which, again, is why I was willing to go for the 20. Like, yeah, coal's getting expensive right now, but... I feel like it should let up before too long, as people are phasing out the really inefficient starting plants that burn coal. Well, Daroj could not build a third city. Okay. That's really good, because I can actually take Lübeck next turn. Because Daroj right now is the biggest threat in this game. Like, Daroj and I have the 2 best plants by far right now, out of anybody. I just realized this plant is nothing more than an 8 right now. Is it worth firing 1 coal for 1 extra city? I think the answer is yes still. Does not feel good, though. I maybe should have bought oil and ran the 5. 16, though, so hey, market stall. Market stall. Stein has to buy another green plant. Being the player with lots of green plants is not what you want in 5-player. Stein is making these purchases out of necessity. Because he's... Wow! There's actually a bid in the 18. I can sort of see that. Because, yeah, 23 is coming next. Like, well, no, 16 would be the next plant bought, I think. Probably 16. Here's a problem. If Amitss buys 16 here, and then 25 comes... I mean, it could happen. And in this situation, Daroj and I are both really hurting for money. Like, hurting real bad for money. And here we go. This is John's plant. Like, we can drive him up a little bit for this plant, but John's going to win this one, realistically. It's just a matter of whether we can make him pay a decent amount for it. He's been waiting for this plant for a long time. I'm willing to pay, though, because, again, capacity. This will be my last click on this plant. And I get it. Okay. $14. $34 might have potentially come onto the market there, but nope. Nope. 37, 38. So my plan is to hope for the market stall and hope that my capacity will win me the game. That's my thinking here. Like, this kind of play would be suicidal if this were 4-player smaller. Keep buying these early big plants and leave yourself with no money. Terrible play is what it normally would be. But because of the risk of the market stall, you'll have enough time to build your money back up and make use of your big plants. And the nice thing is, this is kind of a situation where we get to keep coal cheap. 28 is a very good plant for jonflagg, too. So that is nice. Also, I think I missed a plant that went under the deck at some point. I think, anyway. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe this is just the 4th turn. The problem in this situation, okay. I have to take Hanover. Like, oh god, here's the 12. See what I mean about the market stall? Here we go. Nobody buys a plant this turn. Nobody's going to buy a plant on the next turn, at least. I was more willing to pay for the 5 plants in this game because I noticed 30 and 31 go under the deck. So I'm really, like, in control of coal for the most part here. I need Hanover because Stein's going to look at it too if I don't go there. And luckily I can... Wow, Stein going with the 6. And there's 15, so the market stall continues. I never marked off 21, by the way. I need to do that. Obviously, I have no reason to move the market right now. Hanover is my most important city. That leaves me with 9. I have just barely enough to do this. Luckily, coal should start getting cheaper now. Stein replaced his coal plant. Jonflagg doesn't have a reason to burn coal anymore. Amitss has no coal at all. So this looks like good news for me. This is turning into one of those games where if you buy both the 20 and the 25, you get to keep coal cheap for yourself in the early game by making sure that the 20 is not run, and then you just run the 25. And you're keeping that big coal plant out of somebody else's hands who would be using it. So this is part of what my thinking was with the 20 and 25, is that big capacity plants are going to be at a premium in this game, with, again, 30 and 31 gone. Okay, so Stein didn't take Frankfurt, which is good. I can take Frankfurt and, like, Torgelow next turn, if I have to. Well, no, I probably wanted the money for that. Because that's 41 for cities, and I'm only going to make I'm only going to have 45, so yeah, I won't quite have the money for Torgelow. I think I jump into Kiel. I think? I kind of need to start attacking Daroj some. They have a lot of open land. Because I won't... Okay. Amitss builds to 7 to trigger step 2, which is absolutely the correct play for them because they are way behind in the plant battle right now. It is on them to do the market, so we get to step 2 and I still only have 3 cities. I am taking like the 5-player strategy to the extreme here. Just get the big plants and fuck money strategy. I have no idea if it's going to work, but we will see. There is 26 though. I was kind of hoping 26 wouldn't show up until later. As is, though, Amitss kind of doesn't have a reason to buy any of these plants. They might pass here. Jonflagg, though, they might be the kind of player to buy something like 15 here, as weird as it may seem. Nope. They do the right thing and pass. And there's 32. Okay. We know that's staying in the game. So 32 will be the 1/6 capacity plant. And then most of the plants left in the deck will keep 26 on for next turn. So that one's going to be a huge fight. Actually, considering step 2... Actually, where do I build here? Ooh, I can do this. I can do this play. I have exactly enough to build into Stein's Twin Cities here. The nice thing is, Hanover gives me connections to a lot of areas. Like, not exactly cheap, but I get a lot of connections in a lot of different areas off of Hanover. That's why I wanted this as my 3rd city. It gives me... I should have some kind of fail-safe for step 2. Is what I'm thinking here. In fact, I can't even take Frankfurt. I only have exactly enough money for Stein's twins here. Which building into Stein is good because Stein is the player in the worst position right now, I feel. Although that may not last, like he's making a lot of money, so I fully expect Stein to win the 26 should it come next turn. Or if he misses out in 26 but then gets to fight for 32, he'll win that. Stein will get one of those big plants, but as long as he doesn't get both, he's not winning this game. That's, I think, where we're at right now. I finally make it to 5. You know, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've had only 3 cities going into step 2, which is pretty ridiculous. But this market stall is justifying my play right now, I do feel. Because I need the cash. I need the cash right now. Plus, the nice thing is, I will have jump options to the south from the twins should I need them. Now, the dream situation for me would be if 26 got pushed off the market again in the next turn. And I'm still second lowest in the turn order, too. Which is great news for me, because I'm going to get some cheap-ass coal. The players in the worst positions are building into each other in the cheapest area, which I'm fine with. As long as they're blocking, as long as they're blocking daroj, that's what I want to see. My building options actually look a little better than daroj's at the moment, I think. And amitss continues to overbuild. So they're really pushing to build a money lead through building. I don't think that's going to matter too much in a 5. Like, amitss is clearly just banking on 26 staying on the market and then being in a position to win it. Which I think is a solid bet because, again, I think we only have, 2 or 3 plants that could possibly push... Yeah, 3 plants. We have 3 plants left that could push 26 off the market. And it doesn't happen. Well, there's 26 to fight over. I will put in some token clicks as, I'm not going to build enough this turn to be able to fire both 20 and 25 profitably. So I'll put in a couple clicks in 26, but this should explode. I fully expect this plant to go for a lot of money. This is worth, 50. Yeah. See, Stein is the right idea. Stein knows what's going on here. The only issue in Stein's position is you're costing yourself a chance at 32 if you win 26, because Stein is the bottom player in the turn order. In his spot, I might be less inclined to fight for 26. Knowing that most of the bad plants have already appeared, Stein might be better off just staying at the bottom and waiting. And yeah, there you go. Daroj clicks. So that's correct. Daroj clicks the... And now Stein, I expect to pass on this. Stein needs a chance at the 32. I have no reason to click on this plant. Stein will click on it a little. I mean, 29 is a fantastic money-making plant, and it's a true endgame plant. And there we go. There's one of the cock blockers right there. Jonflagg is going to get a sweet plant. If Jonflagg gets 32 at cost here, That's going to make a game of this again. Wow, jonflagg actually clicks on it. I'm really surprised jonflagg's bidding on this. And yep, there's the 32 for amitss. So amitss went to the top of the turn order and actually got the gem of this turn. I'll bid on it, though. Let me think. 15, 17, 23, 34, 35, 39, 42. Okay. So there is actually a slightly under 50-50 chance. There is a, if my math is right, there is a 3 in 7 chance right now that I'll be able to get 34 at cost. Yes! 22 came on, baby. Yes! 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 $34 came one plant too late for amitss. All right, let me see about this here. Like, I'm taking the extreme poverty strat here just with all plants. We'll see if it works. But we do have a couple plants left that could still really block the market. Problem is, we now have a chance that 34 and 35 could both be bought, but those are not going to catch anyone else up in capacity. I got 32 for a cheaper price than Daroj got 26. I feel pretty good about that, if nothing else. I get my cheap Frankfurt this turn just because I'm going to be at the bottom of the turn order for next turn, and it's the only city I can afford. So why not? What makes me really glad is that people are not blocking yellow right now. So I have pretty easy spots to build. I'm very happy with how cheap I got all these plants. I got the 20 for less than 30. I got the 25 for like 35 or so. And then I got the 32 for just over 40. In a 5-player game, especially with, again, 30 and 31 gone from the deck, that's a monster deal. All right, 34 actually stays on the market as we get 36 coming in. Okay. Well, there is only one. This means that we could be headed for a stall, though. Well, 24 will definitely get bought, but 24 is not going to be a plant that helps people win. And at least 34 comes when people are going to bid it up like crazy. So that helps. What would be ideal for me, I think, would be 19 coming in next. Basically, I want 19 to show up as soon as possible. Speak of the devil. And this is bad because you're going to be looking at these exact plants on the next turn. So my next most important cities to take are Erfurt and Fulda. I can take those 2 cities on this turn. Oh, jonflagg is actually going to move the market. Okay. Well, I mean, this is the right way to stop me from running away with the win, at least. Because, yeah. This just happened. 35. Problem is daroj. Yeah, I can't buy. The nice thing is, step 3 will not come on the next turn. Because we'll have 1 more plant left. We will have 1 more plant left in the game. All right. 15. Okay, this is perfect for me. The nice thing is, with other players overbuilding, I can still stay low enough in the turn order that... Well, actually, no, there's few other coal plants out there in the game anyway that I would not have to worry about people buying out coal on me. There's no coal plants in the market either. We know for a fact that 24 will be the next plant to come. So 24, 33... And then the 6s are going to come, though, is the problem. I'm probably not going to win this game, though, now that I think about it. I think it's just I'm too far behind in money, ultimately. I could end the game in 2 more turns, maybe, but... Problem is, I'm so far behind on money. Like, amitss and jonflagg are dead. Stein, though? Like, Stein could get a 7 plant 2 turns from now? Okay, Stein doesn't have as much money as I thought either. So that's pretty encouraging. If Stein could not build to 11, then when Stein is a cheap city up here, Stein must not have as much money as I thought. Well, because he paid a lot for the 34 is why. So... And he also did things like having to, he ran the 8. Stein ran the 8 for longer than he wanted to. He had to buy the 6 earlier in the game. I'll definitely run the 25 this turn. I am making money from powering the 2 cities here. And there's 24. We'll see if jonflagg buys a plant. No, he's not going to do it. Okay, amitss does it because 24 makes sense for amitss for sure. Okay, I get step 3 builds. Yay. Okay. There's a lot of oil in this game, though. I want to build into red. Because I want to make it a little harder for Daroj and Stein. Like, those two players are my main competitors right now. I would say definitely Stein more than Daroj, because I feel like 35 was not a great buy for Daroj, honestly. They'd be better off just passing on that and then planning for step 3 and getting one more plant there to end the game, is my thinking. Yeah, I'm just so poor. I am so fucking poor. Come to think of it, Stein's gonna come... Well, no. Stein might not come back and win the game, actually, because Daroj is gonna win after all. Because... Yeah. Because Stein has a base capacity problem. I am definitely not buying a plant next turn, obviously. So... Daroj is thinking about... Yeah, I think Daroj is correct to fire all the plants there. So once again, I am... Well, we'll see if 36 gets bought this turn. Stein would have to go for... Yeah. Yeah. I ended up too poor. Alas. Only thing left to see is whether I can finish ahead of Stein. Because I do still think that this is Daroj's game. I'm kind of surprised someone bid the 50 up, because really the 39 would have been the better plant for Daroj to put up for bid. 39 versus the 50, it's cheaper to run for one turn until you bid it up to, high 40s. I mean, I can't bid on it, though. Amitss is the one who can bid on this. Although Amitss... Actually, no, Amitss will take the 36, I think. Yep, it's good to bid this up a little bit. Make it harder for Daroj, because this is a super efficient plant. And really, 39 in general is a plant that I think has a much lower number than it should. I almost feel like 39 should switch numbers with 42. Or something like that. At minimum. Stein passes on 36, which is a good sign for me. And there's 46. And now Daroj needs to think about what to build over. Yeah, that makes sense. $38's an amazing deal for me, but I can't take it. At least nobody else has coal. One other player has oil, but whatevs. So what this game's going to come down to is, can Daroj get to 16? Given his resources, I kind of doubt it. In which case, Stein's going to win. But yeah, in retrospect, I still think that the 20 and the 20 and the 25, I still feel like I was right to pay the prices for those plants that I did. 32 was the one that might have been going too far. Because of Daroj putting the 36 up for bid and getting stuck with it, that might honestly be what wins it for Stein, as I think about it. I am so poor. Like, holy shit, am I poor? Holy shit, am I poor? Builds went rather badly for me. My Magdeburg build was definitely a mistake. Because I forgot about the Hamburg single build when I did the single build in Magdeburg, because they could build north of me to counter my build really easily. I didn't think about that. I'm so used to just default to Magdeburg when I don't know what else to do. Maybe I should have gone Würzburg, actually, because no one else is going to want to fight you down south. That's all the expensive shit there. So maybe with a plant like 5 on Germany, maybe that's the safe build, where things aren't as expensive for you compared to where I built. Cornering yourself makes things a bit riskier for steps 2 and 3. Jonflagg should just take cheapest cities, yes. So Passau should probably be Jonflagg's 13th, I think. Oh no, they go somewhere else. Okay. Okay, I'm here. I'm gonna get last in this, actually. If daroj can get to 16, Stein wins. And Stein does indeed win. I thought Stein was screwed there for a while. Very nice comeback on Stein's part. Good job. He needed 35 to get on the market to win, but he did it. And I'll take my last place finish. Interesting. I really thought, like, okay, maybe 25. I wonder if 25 might have been the one that was the mistake for me to bid on. All right, well, that's a 5-player in Germany, and I think what we're learning here is maybe just the raw capacity strat doesn't work as well in Germany. Given how much slower the game goes, you're more likely to see a turn of step 3 on Germany, and that's what makes the difference here. That is what enabled Stein to make the comeback. If we played on a cheaper map than Germany, we probably wouldn't have gotten to step 3 at all, and then Stein would have been dead. And I could have potentially... My strat actually could have worked, maybe, if this were on a cheaper map. But on Germany, it looks like it was doomed to fail. Okay, I'm learning. I continue to learn things here. Anyway, I will bid you good night then.